Welcome to G24. You're watching the main edition of the news in English. It is time to get the headlines. At the very top is the implantation of subcutaneous chips that integrate health pass data, which a Swedish company is testing. This device is untraceable and safe for health. Also, Emmanuel Macron has bluntly said he really wants to piss off unvaccinated people as part of the government's COVID strategy to force them to get jabbed. Thank you for staying tuned. In a bit of seconds, the details and more. Once more, welcome back. We open in Gabon. A delegation of the présenté research firm from Central Africa was received in an audience at the Prime Minister's office. The results of the actuarial study report were handed to the head of government, Rose Cristiano Sucaraponda. The results were generally considered positive. For more, we listen to John-Cyril Ondomungu.
The final report of the actuarial study of the Social Security schemes managed by the Pension and Family Benefits Fund of public servants of the state handed over to the head of government, Rose Cristiano Sucaraponda, in favor of an audience granted on Wednesday to the director of the study firm, présenté Central Africa.
Today we came to the Prime Minister's office to hand over the results of the study that the government has entrusted to présenté, the actuarial studies of the National Pension Fund managed by the CPPF. We would like to thank the government for this act of trust, and we are very honored today to hand over the results of these studies. The results are positive. There are no choices to be made by the government, in collaboration, of course, with the social partners. And then the next step is to accompany the CPPF in implementing these solutions.
With the evolution of the economic, social, and demographic environment of the country, it appeared necessary to undertake important reforms to ensure the sustainability of the social protection system for the benefit of the population. This achievement is a new stone in the modernization of the social welfare system started some time ago with the linking of retirement pensions to the new remuneration system desired by the highest authorities.
From Gabon to Nigeria, former President Goodluck Jonathan is expected in Bamako. The visit by the current ECOWAS mediator for Mali is in response to the proposed timetable for extending the Malian transition to 5 more years. This trip is also a stepping stone before the extraordinary summit of ECOWAS heads of state to be held on January 9th. More details in this report by John-Cyril Ondomungu on the writings of Arsène Marie.
Although no information has yet been released on its content, Goodluck Jonathan's visit to Mali comes with a message from Nana Akufo-Addo, Ghanaian president and current chairman of ECOWAS. On January 1st, the Economic Community of West African States was content to take note of the draft timetable for the transition, which provides for the organization of a presidential election no later than December 2026. To discuss this, the former Nigerian president will meet with technical and financial partners, the diplomatic bodies present in Mali, upon his arrival in Bamako. A meeting with the president of the transition, Colonel Assimi Goïta, is also on the agenda of the ECOWAS emissaries. It must be said that the draft timetable provided by the Malian authorities is facing opposition from several heads of state in the sub-region. The Malian Foreign Affairs Minister is said to have begun a visit to the various capitals of the organization to explain the project, which according to the government stems for the need to carry out several reforms before the elections. It should be noted that at a national level, several parties and associations have just created the Sauvons le Mali Synergy. This grouping rejects the electoral calendar resulting from the national conferences of the foundation, which prolongs the coup d'etat while calling for the defense of democracy and the rule of law of the Constitution.
The wall page opens in France. Emmanuel Macron's ruling centrist party was left red-faced on Tuesday after opposition parties joined forces to hold up a bill that will make it mandatory for people to show proof of being vaccinated and not just a negative COVID test or proof one has recovered from coronavirus to access public venues and transport. For more, we listen to Yan Mangoy.
The lower house of the National Assembly was debating the implementation of a new, stricter health pass that would require proof of having been fully vaccinated. The current health pass or pass sanitaire is also valid if one finishes a recent negative test or proof of having recovered from COVID-19. But when the government asked the chamber late Monday to continue debating the legislation after midnight to ensure it could be adopted by the end of the week, the right-wing Les Républicains teamed up with the far right and far left to stop the debate. In an embarrassment for Macron's Republic on the move, La République En Marche, party that controls parliament, not enough of its lawmakers were still present in the chamber when the vote by a show of hands was taken on continuing the debate. French media said the surprise move by LR, which has backed the main thrust of the legislation, pointed to rising political tensions ahead of April 2022 presidential elections, in which Macron appears the favorite, but is not certain to win. Government spokesman Gabriel Attal lashed out a procedural coup by opposition lawmakers, saying they wanted to derail the calendar for the vaccine pass for purely political reasons. The debate was due to resume late Tuesday, parliamentary sources said, with 500 amendments filed by the opposition to be discussed and lawmakers facing another late night. Valérie Pécresse, the LR candidate, considered the main threat to Macron, confirmed on Tuesday that the party would back the legislation. She warned, however, that it would be modified when it arrives in the Senate, where the right holds the majority, and criticized the lack of preparedness and improvisation of the government in the face of the crisis.
In the same line as debate heats up in the lead up to French presidential polls in April, Emmanuel Macron has bluntly said he really wants to piss off unvaccinated people as part of the government's COVID strategy to force people to get jabbed. Let's watch.
I'm not one for annoying the French, but right now, the non-vaccinated, I really want to piss them off, and so we are going to continue doing so until the end. This is the strategy.
Macron's comments given late Tuesday during an interview with Le Parisien Daily come after a vaccine pass bill was suspended in Parliament, much to the delight of the right-wing opposition parties. Angry reaction to his comments, parts of the 2-hour interview that also covered security and climate and other issues saw debate on the contentious bill suspended for a second night in a row. If passed, the proposed law will mean that from next month only fully vaccinated people and not just those with a negative COVID test will be eligible for a health pass. In the form of a QR code, the pass allows the French to access public venues such as restaurants and cinemas and to travel. The government has long made clear that vaccination is its #1 strategy for navigating France through the pandemic, which has claimed more than 124,000 lives in the country.
We need to tell the unvaccinated that from 15th of January, you won't be able to go to the restaurants anymore. You won't be able to have a drink, have a coffee, or go to the theater.
On the other hand, opponents accuse Macron of electioneering in his first interview of the year 4 months out from political polls, despite not yet having declared himself a candidate. There is also some history to Macron's colorful expression. Back in 1966, then President Georges Pompidou told young political aide Jacques Chirac to stop pissing off the French by bringing him too many bills and decrees to sign. You got it in the headlines. A Swedish company is testing the implantation of subcutaneous chips that integrate health pass data. This device is untraceable and safe for health, argues the Stockholm-based startup. The details are given with Arsène Marie. Let's take a look.
A Swedish company called Disruptive Subdermals has developed a microchip that can carry its user health pass directly under the skin of the hand. For several years, the use of the subcutaneous chips has been adopted by thousands of Swedes, Some use them to validate the subway ticket or to access the office. No bigger than a grain of rice, these microchips integrate the technology of a smartphone or bank cards that allow contactless payment in stores. The company assures that the personal data of the user are protected because despite the conspiracy theories, the contactless technology used by these microchips is only activated when a device for reading information is placed a few centimeters from the implant. According to the head of a disruptive subdemors, this device is enabled to connect to the internet by itself at a distance. On the other end, at the price of 100 euros per chip, it will have a hard time competing with the free QR code of the two anti-COVID application to provide the same service.
We close this news edition with sports. The former Barca striker has spoken at length with the Athletic. Samuel Eto'o, current president of the Cameroonian Football Federation, campaigns for African football. Let's take a look at the report for more details. Samuel Eto'o has never been known to beat around the bush. He proves it once again in an interview with the English-speaking media, The Athletic. The one who became president of the Cameroon Football Federation in December expands on the potential of Africans in the sport. I am convinced that we Africans are important in many areas, but we do not know how to come together. The former striker has worn the colors of Barca, Inter Milan, and Chelsea, but for him, African footballers only need one key element to establish themselves at the top of the world's hierarchy.
Africans have a lot of talent, the Europeans a little less, but the Europeans have understood something. Training is the magic of any success. It sees young Africans dominating physically until training allows the hubs of the whole continent to rise. In Africa, we don't know how to train ourselves. When you educate will play off in 10 years, we don't have the patience.
To put it another way, he believes that the players from Nigeria, Senegal, Cameroon and Ivory Coast are stronger than their opponents. However, they are quickly overtaken by the academic structure enjoyed by Europeans. This is precisely what Samuel Eto'o wants to change in the future. He hopes to inject new momentum so that he can win a FIFA World Cup in the future. It's one of the easiest things to do. It's just a few football matches, he told The Athletic. The African continent is often looked down upon by the rest of football. English clubs recently angered federations by refusing to release their players for the African Cup of Nations. These same players inspire new generations by showing them that it is possible to make a living with your passion. Eto'o looks back on Roger Milla, the forward who brought the dream to Africa. Today, players like Mohamed Salah, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, Sadio Mane and Riyad Mahrez have taken up the torch. We have come to the end of this news edition, but first let's review the main summary. At the very top is the implantation of subcutaneous chips that integrate health pass data, which a Swedish company is testing. This device is untraceable and safe for health. Also, Emmanuel Macron has bluntly said he really wants to piss off unvaccinated people as part of the government's COVID strategy to force them to get jabbed. It is always a pleasure to inform you on G24. Don't forget, information continues on our channel and social medias. Stay tuned because at 8 p.m. local time, Gaoma Pesi comes to inform you in French. As for me, it is time to tell you goodbye and take care of yourselves.